the Disability Advisory Council for the City of Sebastian to order, please. Let us rise as we're able to for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. May we have a roll call, please?
Ms. Anderson? Ms. Ring?
Here.
Ms. Verrant? Mr. Goodfellow?
Here.
And Mr. Iovino has asked for an excused absence.
Thank you. Do we have any modifications for today's agenda? All right. Seeing none, may I have an approval of the minutes for last month's meeting, please? Do we have a second? Go ahead. All right, we have a motion and a second. All those voting in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Do we have, let's see here. Do we have any, let's move right into unfinished business and take a look at any reports regarding site visits. Go ahead.
Is this where I read my summary?
Sure, that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. I had a list of the city properties. Thank you very much. I appreciate you supplying me with that. And I made a copy of them, and the ones that have notes next to them are the ones I went to. The ones that don't have any notes next to them, I didn't make it to them. I'll try next time. For the most part, though, I found all the bathrooms in good shape, really, and very clean the day I went. I went on several days, so every day I went, they were clean. And the only thing I have to say is they are long walks. Long walks to get to any place. So, yeah, but then I did note 4 different places that I saw something that was amiss. So I can't, out of all the others that I saw, I only come up with 4. And one was the Airport Administration building. I found it to be, I had to sit there for a while, so I found it very noisy and annoying every time that toilet got flushed. And I don't know why I don't know why. But you hear it all the way out into the area, the sitting area, the entranceway. So I don't know if you can make it any quiet out there. And then when I was walking around, I tripped on the ramp that is for the handicapped access. Yeah, I tripped on it. So it wasn't a bad trip, but, it was. I thought maybe if it was marked, then I would be able to see it and not.
Can I interrupt? Is that going out to the parking area, the
Yes.
disabled ramp?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then I went to the golf course, and there are 6 handicap spaces out there, but there's no handicap bathroom, none marked. And when I went into the ladies' room, the bathroom in there was not big enough to be a handicap bathroom. So I don't know what to say. It's just you don't have one there. And then when I went to the Chamber of Commerce, there's one parking space, and when I got in there, it's kind of tight, so I did not realize I pulled into the handicap one right away. So I was backing up, and then another lady came in at the same time, and we could not maneuver in that parking lot at the same time. I had to pull off and stop and she did the same thing I did. She pulled right into the handicap one, and she realized where she was. She had to back up and try to move somewhere else. And now, Barber Street Sports Complex. Oh, man. That bathroom is always locked, so I did go back there several times. Finally found Chris, your maintenance man out there, and he He's really nice. He let me in. He showed me how to drive up to the concession area. Otherwise, I wouldn't not known how to get in there, which driveway to use to get in. And then he opened all the bathrooms for me. And, oh, man, they're really bad. The paint's peeling off the walls. The paint's peeling off the floors. I don't know if that's, you know, but they're always locked, he told me. So even when the kids are out there using the skate park, he said they had to ask for the key to get in there. So, but they're in terrible shape. And we have so many activities going on out there that I just feel we should do something for those people who use the park, that we should give them a better bathroom.
Excuse me, real quick question, Andrew. Are we talking about the restrooms by the football field or by the baseball field?
Now, I'm not,
Are the ones closer to the skate park? Are the ones that you're talking
Yes.
about? Those are the football fields. Okay.
yeah, the skate park, right. I couldn't find the others. I didn't know where they were. I went back a couple of times and looked, but yeah, I know. I don't see very well. I was told there were bathrooms over there, and I never found them.
Yeah, there's 2 sets of bathrooms. Just to educate the commission here, that the sports complex is considered one large complex, and that's why all the parking and stuff is all is one large complex. It was as a master plan. We do have 2 sets of bathrooms, one over there by the football field, which is part of the concession stand, which is also part of the press box, and behind it are the restrooms. Those are the ones that you said are in deplorable condition. And we are aware. We're working with the leagues, and we're trying to work together to repair those and get them up to speed. The other set of bathrooms are over by the diamond fields, by the baseball field. If you go down that, there's like a little path where the 4 diamonds are. Under the press box over there, there's also bathrooms over there.
Be a long walk.
Yeah, it's a long walk to the back. It's all the way in the back.
Okay.
There's a set of bathrooms back there as well. But
They open? Or would I have to get them unlocked?
The baseball
Or
fields
would I
are
have to
open, and
go with-
usually the football fields are open, but I think lately they've been closing them and locking them until the season starts. 'Cause as much as we want to use them for public use, you know, people do a lot of weird things in those bathrooms, so, and we don't have enough staff to keep monitoring all those areas. Areas that we have to keep them open, you know, good example, the dog park, we know there is in good use. By the riverfront area, they're all in good use. The splash pad's good use. Areas that we start questioning now because of, you know, maybe not uncertainties, we lock them up now. It's more for the safety of the individual. But most of our parks, like Hardy Park, they're open 24. I mean, they're open in the day. Most of them have locks now, so in the evenings they shut down, or a guy comes around and locks them.
Okay, thank you.
But you're right, you're right. I happened to be at the football field bathrooms a couple weeks ago because their season just started, and they are in bad shape, I agree. And it seems to me that we had some money budgeted for that, was it last year? But we tried to get more of a buy-in from the leagues, the baseball league and the football league, you know, to fix those things themselves. And so now we're trying to maintain it as best we can, but we know that and it's all about the money, and we're trying to do the best we can with that. But we're aware of that, especially at the football field.
Then, is there for young families, is there like a baby changing station out there somewhere?
No, with the remodels, we're going to be looking at not just ADA, other issues like that in terms of baby stations, making them unisex, making them for families. We're aware of those things we have to do when we remodel it. A good example is this year through the city manager, we are going to be remodeling over here at the senior and arts bathrooms. They're not in great shape either. And those are the things we'll be looking at. And then updating and putting in, you know, energy efficient, like you know, detections and motions for the water and stuff. Because, you know, ADA says now you should not try to touch the devices, so it should be all automated with, you know, hand sensors for the soap, hand sensors, towel, hand sensors, so that way you don't touch anything anymore. We're moving to that next generation. The products are a lot more cheaper, a lot more affordable. We're actually doing that with the current golf course restrooms right now.
Admittedly, Frank's talking about the golf course restrooms that are remote out by hole number 6 and hole number 16. So at 16 tee box and hole number 6 green, those are the remote restrooms that we have at the golf course. So they're being, right now, they're that contract has been let construction should be ongoing here pretty soon. The restrooms that Frank's talking about over here by the senior center and the art center, those restrooms, I believe that bid's out, isn't it? And
It'll be out next Wednesday.
next Wednesday, be published next Wednesday. Frank's written it up. It'll be published next Wednesday. So, and that's where we're going to make changes to that facility.
Okay. I went into there. The art room was closed, by the way, locked. When I went 3 times to try to get in the art bathroom, and that closed, locked. The seniors, I went in, and I found it to be in okay shape, really. I mean, in par with the rest.
Those are the,
not like,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Excuse me.
Okay.
Those are the internal restrooms they have in the art center or in the senior center. I'm talking about the external restroom in the hallway that
Yeah, that's
perhaps
fine.
you're not familiar with that one, but it's external to those buildings, right next door, but it's kind of in between the old schoolhouse and the art and senior center building. So just want to make sure we're talking about the same thing.
I'm not
That's
sure.
That's the one we're remodeling.
And when I went out to the golf course, I asked him about the bathrooms, and he said it was just that one. He didn't tell me about any of the others. And I told him I was on the committee looking, so he didn't tell me any other bathrooms to look at.
Well, he probably just thought you were, I'm just speculating, he probably just thought you were talking about the clubhouse itself. And I imagine when the clubhouse was built, which was 35, 40 years ago, we didn't have the ADA regulations that we have now, obviously. Yeah. So perhaps it wasn't a requirement for a ADA restroom, and like there is today. But as Frank said, I'm talking about the restrooms that are out on the golf course that are external. I mean, if you're out there playing, and
didn't see that.
those restrooms are going to be ADA compliant.
Okay, I didn't see them. I didn't know that they existed even. Thank you.
All right. Good. Thank you.
I did visit several of the properties. The City Hall complex, I went to the Art Center and City Hall. Bumped into Frank when I was there, and Riverview Park. In the City Hall complex, the Art Center, there's an automatic door, but I couldn't find the button to push to get out. I had come in through the other door. They had boxes stored there in front of the button, which is on the wall, but a distance from the door. So that has to be looked into, make sure that they have that clear. And then the other thing was automatic doors to get into this building. If I had come here alone, I wouldn't be able to get in. 3 years ago when they said the door here, and even if I had to wait for someone to come out and open it, they wouldn't see me because the hole is there and the wall is there. So I think that's something that should be looked into, get automatic doors someplace here, and that would be the ideal place. The handicap parking is right out here. So that was the one thing. Riverview Park looks to be in compliance, and the only thing is there are some cracks in the sidewalk in several spots there. I looked over at the splash pad. There's handicap parking spots there. And Easy Street Park, that looked fine. And that's about it.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Anderson, do you have any opportunity? Make sure that the light is on. There you go.
All right, there I am. As you all know, my voice, I never know. So I've invited a friend to help read what I have written. Belinda, you want to begin with that? Yeah, begin with that.
Members of this advisory committee all have their reasons for volunteering to be a part of such an important endeavor. Prior to beginning my homework presentation, I want to preface with my personal thoughts about having a physical challenging disability. I moved here in 2004, knowing no one, seeking a warm climate to maintain with my illness, primary lateral sclerosis. You all have only known me as the gal with the walker who has become involved in our community. The walker is to stabilize my balance. You also have only known me as the gal who has difficulty getting appropriate words out, despite my brain running a mile a minute. Such are the challenges I face daily with a rare upper motor neuron illness. I have been embraced for the most part by folks in our community who realize all that I have to offer contribute back to Sebastian. My illness began out of nowhere in 1995 at a pivotal point of my career as a special ed teacher of severely emotionally impaired adolescents. My upward career in administration ceased. Acceptance of a disability is a challenging one. That's why I encourage our city manager to resurrect this committee, renamed the Disabilities Advisory Committee. Our mission is to assure the residents of Sebastian that all city-owned properties meet the ADA, American Disabilities Act, National Code. Being a disabled woman for 20 years since being diagnosed, there is one common thread between the elderly and disabled men and women within our community. Everyone wants to maintain their being fiercely independent. From living alone, driving, being active, socializing, buying their groceries, and opening their own doors. I am all of the above, but there are properties owned by the city which are ADA compliant, but not easily accessible by many. It is there where I want to begin my homework dialogue.
All right. Last Friday, I met with the director and the program director. The Boys and Girls Club. I had served previously on an advisory board there. So I was very familiar with the layout. So I remember that the front doors, they were very, very heavy. Fortunately, the young man, Andrew, who runs it all over there, he opened the door, and then I also asked if there were any other doors within the building that also were heavy. And sure enough, the rear door out towards the outdoor area, the overhang area, that is also a very heavy door. And what I have learned, not only here, but at my home on Long Island, that these handicap buttons are the most wonderful thing that has ever been invented. And I really urge you all to think more about handicap buttons wherever. Anyway, also I know that there is no yellow for the blind on the right out of the parking lot onto their main area. Right now, they have no boys or girls who have a disability or walking or anything like that. But, you know, there, every now and then, although we don't plan for this, I would hate having a young man or woman not be able to get in the area. So I highly recommend that we have the buttons. I want to also commend Andrew and Kelly. We are lucky that we have them. I noticed that in the rear of the old elementary building, that there was finally a handicap button going up that ramp. I was wondering whether or not the city or the college paid for that.
Is the question, what is our responsibility for the
Yeah.
building? Actually, we own the property,
Right.
but my understanding is they built the building. So, but I would think that we could give them some general prodding as far as these issues, since it comes under our purview of we own the dirt, so therefore, at some point, that building will come back to us. I believe that's correct, isn't it, Jeanette? I think it is. I may be wrong on that, but after a good period of time, I think it's 30 or 40 years, the contract, something like that.
I think the city manager is correct. The reason why I can say that is because the entire complex here is under one permit, under one stormwater master plan. So that parking is all within this complex under the city. That building site is within the city.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I'm sure we could give them some general prodding,
Yeah.
Ms. Anderson, so we'll look into that.
All right. Thank you. Now here, yeah, you know what, rather than me trying, I get this all out, when you read that, please.
The city, Sebastian City Hall complex. In my almost 12 years of living in Sebastian, I have attended many council, forums, FSL, charter review meetings, and have had to rely on someone opening the chamber door, as they are heavy, not empowering the disabled. As gracious as folks of Sebastian officers have been, a mere push of a button entering and leaving would empower me and others. I recommend a handicap button be installed for both doors leading into the chambers from the rear parking area. To my knowledge, there is no handicap button access to the building permit office or the main lobby side door by outer chamber door. I recommend that they be placed. Also, there needs to be a slide on the COS 25 informing residents who may be handicapped when they make an appointment with officials on the second floor as to how to access the elevator. The parking lot, evening lighting, accessing rear handicap parking to council chamber door is not safely sufficient. I've struggled alone with my walker, also navigating the ADA blind mat to my car. I request further lighting to be considered.
Yeah, there has been many a night when I've been here, and then I left early, and there isn't really enough light out there going down that ramp. I know we have the lighting in the lot area, but right up in here, I understand, we need more, right?
To help you out, we'll take a look at the lighting, but just to educate you, the commission here, the parking lot was set to be repaved. We're going to hold on the paving because the pavement is still in pretty good shape. We are going to repaint it though. I was actually meeting with our crew this morning, and so all the handicap spots will be painted with a bright fluorescent blue, which it should be. We're going to paint the curbs blue as well as all the other areas. We're going to paint it. We're going to put up new signs, reflective signs, so it should help out. The truncated domes that you're talking about, the matting and stuff, we're going to actually put in the new FDOT required truncated domes. This is all painted concrete. It doesn't meet current standards anymore. So we'll take care of all the markings.
All right. Right, yeah, when I emailed Joe a year ago, it was about my unhappiness over waste management. You all may or may not be aware, but now they require a form. If you want to have your trash picked up right by your house, by the garage door. And I have one of my daughters ring up Waste Management, and they let them know that this form had to be verified and signed by a doctor. In my case, this was very convenient because my primary is in Melbourne. Anyway, I was thinking that perhaps for the many men and women who are not aware of this service that Waste Management will do, that maybe we, finish that up.
She asked that they could post the form online and have it available at the reception desk and be able to mail it to residents.
That's a good idea. As part of the waste management contract with the city of Sebastian, there is a provision that provides for a backdoor trash service pickup. Frankly, I've never seen it done, but I assume the guy gets out of his truck, goes back, gets the trash can, wheels it down, and gets it into the truck. There are currently 12, I think it is, 12 or 13 folks in Sebastian that have that service.
Really?
And it's 12 or 13. The way that to get signed on for that service is there has to be a doctor's letter or something like that submitted to Waste Management, and then they'll take up the service. Frankly, I didn't know that anyone was on that service. I knew it was in the contract, didn't know we had that service or anyone had partaken in that, and until this past week when, of course, the problems with Waste Management here lately, but I think they're working that out, especially within the city of Sebastian. And a lady had called Jean Tarbell that her trash had not been picked up in the back door. Of course, I had forgotten that provision in the contract. Talked to Waste Management, lo and behold, we have 12 or 13 folks who do that. So as I understand it from talking with Waste Management, it's just submittal of that letter to them, and they'll take up the service. So I'll try to find a vehicle to get the word out more on this.
Yeah, you know what? I'm really amazed that at that low number, when here my neighbor who is 94, I let her know about it, and she said, why didn't I hear about this? I've been hopping down to the curb. So I really think that we have to find a way and put the word out. And that's why I thought about maybe Channel 25 as a beginning point.
We can certainly get that on Channel 25. I'll get with Sally to arrange that, and also on our website. We have another vehicle that we could use. We have a Pelican News newsletter. I don't know if you all, I hope everybody got their, we've published 2 of them so far, and they will come out, the next one will come out in December, I think it is. So that's obviously another subject we can bring up in the Pelican News, and we'll get the word out and see if people can't participate. You know, certainly if they need that service, then that Waste Management is offering it, which is very benevolent of them, part of their contract. So we'll get the word out, Carolyn. Thank you very much.
Thanks. And one last thing, the Senior Activity Center. When we began running it there, we had the handicap button. Well, it was already there, but we had it worked on, and now it is up and running. Now, what I have learned, which bothers me, is that that door by the button is now locked, and that you must unlock it from the outside. That the men and women who open and lock up have been told that that door remains not open, and I worry about that, because we have many older men and women, and also I know one woman in a power chair, and that goes back to what I had my friend read. We want to feel that we are empowered, and by going there and not having that button opening up the door, once again, you're losing a little bit of being empowered by relying on others. Now, I also want to bring up about the senior center, that when we had it renovated, that there were those of us that were involved in the renovation. And I really had hoped that we would have a handicap bathroom area there. And I am well aware of why we're not able. And I think I want to make sure that people realize that when they renovated there and we asked for a handicap bathroom, that we were told, and it made sense, that they would be unable to enlarge that bathroom, and we handled that. And I'm happy, though, that we're going to have a repair work done on the outdoor bathroom. That is the one I used when I was there, and that the door to the women's bathroom is not, you never know whether or not it's all the way in or the door does not always close there. And I felt very unsafe. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Frank and I actually about maybe a month ago, we took a tour through the men's and women's outdoor bathroom. It's not outdoor, but it's detached from the building.
Right.
And it's in bad shape. The doors are in bad shape.
Right.
I don't know if that's been looked at in, 20 years. So we know what the issues are there. I think the issue with the restrooms interior to the senior center and also the art center was space. That was the big problem there. So that's why Frank really recommended us doing something to bring that exterior, those exterior restrooms, male and female, into ADA compliance. So that's a big part of that bid that's out there. And there's another thing to consider. Coming back to what Andrea was talking about, was that the external restrooms that you didn't get to see, but they're out there on the golf course. We're taking it upon ourselves with additional expense to make sure they are ADA compliant, and we're going to totally remodel those things. So, and we're going to do the same thing here. So, give us a couple months to get that done. That project should be about, what, 3 months, you think?
It's bid out at 90 days, but it's going to be a full remodel. That means a whole new floor, all new exterior doors, all new partitions inside, all new partition doors on the inside, all new fixtures. This is going to be when we get done, it'll be all brand new bathroom.
And why don't we add on a handicap button?
We could take a look at that.
On both the men and women's doors.
We could do that, and what we'll do is we could put time sensors on them too. Our issue is it's a double-edged sword. We'd like to keep everything open, but in the evenings we have a lot of people. We have kids doing vandalism. We have things that happen at night that we don't want things to happen to our nice bathrooms. We put a lot of energy and money into these bathrooms, and a lot of people don't take care of it, and we come back with toilets being damaged, windows and stuff being broken out of, mirrors being busted, and it takes a huge effort for our maintenance crews to keep going back through. And this is on a daily basis sometimes, and that's the reason why we have to lock them in the evenings. But we can put time sensors on them that we could post them in some of our parks that they automatically shut, from dusk to dawn, and we will look at putting in the automated doors.
Good. Mike, that's all.
All right, thank you very much. I think a lot has been, a lot of great points have been made. My own personal observations would tend to parallel what has already been said, but I think at times when there's been large activities at Riverside Park, there's often not enough handicapped parking available. I understand that you're probably aware of that. That's something that needs to be addressed, in my opinion. And we have a particularly older population, and many of the older folks, for different circumstances, are in need of handicap parking. One of the things that was mentioned was adding the garbage form, or adding the form onto the website to get doorside pickup. I think in addition to having the forms available on the website, it would be important that people can submit the forms via the website. There's, the technology is available so that signatures can be done electronically. And it's not that difficult to do the entire process online. That would save people, especially mobility impaired folks, from having to print out the form, fill it out, and then have to bring it into City Hall.
That doesn't come to City Hall. That goes to Waste Management.
Okay, well, whether it's waste management for that specific form, but I'm sure that, there are other forms that would have to come to City Hall. I'm just looking at overall. Anything that we can do to make it, make a life a little bit easier for everybody who has, who suffers from a handicap or a disability condition. I mean, it's not visible, but I have one as well. I have a nerve damage in my brain, so I'm always dizzy, and I have memory issues. But at any rate, mine are relatively minor, but that's neither here nor there. I don't have any more to offer. Any more that I would offer would be to mirror what's already been said. The folks that have presented so far have done a fantastic job, and I would applaud them for that. So, okay, do we have any public input today? Okay, seeing none. Let's move along to staff matters. Do you have anything for us, gentlemen?
Let me just, if I might say, in all sincerity, thank you for this. Like any community that has a bureaucracy, not to be long-winded or sappy about this, a lot of times we can't see the forest for the trees, as they say. And so we need this prodding to say these things are deficient, and can you please take care of them? We don't view that as something bad. We view this as something good, and because we need this as well as other people would need it. So certainly the door situation, I'm very interested in some of these things. Not to follow on what Michael talked about, I went through an older brother who had a very severe disability. So growing up, I kind of became aware of what he had to go through. So that's where my interest is in this. So we will follow up on these things, perhaps not as fast as everybody wants, but
right.
we will take care of things from time to time, and we'll have to be reminded from time to time, I'm sure. What I would like to do is just, I don't mean to put Frank or Wayne on the spot here, but Wayne is our building official. He deals with ADA requirements all the time. Frank certainly does as our city engineer. I just wanted to see if they have anything to add to the discussion.
No, I don't really have anything to add, but certainly you can call our office anytime if you have any questions at all about ADA compliance. I know when they were talking about the senior center earlier, I was involved in that renovation, and we did look at the bathroom and find out what we could do to make it handicap accessible, and it was basically to the maximum extent feasible. We put a larger door in there, rearranged the cabinet where the sink and all of that is, the vanity. But so like I said, to the maximum extent feasible, I think we added some grab bars in there. We did try to address the situation, but knowing that the other bathrooms are outside, eventually they're going to get renovated, and it'll certainly make it a lot better over there. But feel free to call my office, talk to me anytime. Thank you.
And maybe just to highlight what Joe mentioned too, we are aware of the needs because this is more of a senior population. Good example is when we did the entire riverfront area. I considered the Riverview Park, Cab Corps, the Presidential Streets. When we did the Cleveland part of the Presidential Streets, we added 43 angle parking spaces. These are public parking spaces, so we didn't have to meet ADA. We put in 3 ADA parking spaces there. The Cab Corps project will have 2 additional parking spaces. The typical standard is 1 per 25. We're adding more.
Great.
So we're trying to accommodate as much as we can.
Thank you. Let's move on to, do you have anything else for us? Okay, let's move on to matters from members.
I'm happy that you all held off on the meeting until I arrived back home. I've had a lot on my mind about this, and until you walk the way we walk in the journey that we are on, you never really know how hard it is a lot of the time. That's why even having a button right back there at that door would make me so happy. After all the hours that I've been here and all the folks who have opened the door up for me. So I thank you all, and I really thank you, Joe, for taking the ball and running with it. Thanks.
Does anybody else have?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
I think that we need some sort of a badge saying who we are. I've been asked a few times at different places when I visited sites, you know, what I was doing, etc. We had some sort of ID.
That would make sense, because if we're visiting a property, we could look like the stalker down the street. And, I mean, that's not good. Did you have anything for us today?
No, but I know I talked about some of the bad things. I would like to say, though, about the dog park. Man, that one was nice. That was my first one, so everything was really bad in comparison. But yes, it's good out there.
I do want to highlight the actual outside ADA. Bucky did that all. If you knew who Bucky was, he put in all the ADA requirements for that building.
Right. All right. Well, of course, I'd like to thank my fellow members of the committee for their work over the past 6 months, and we do realize that with bureaucracy, the ball can move slowly, but we're grateful if the ball moves. So I think I can speak for everybody saying thank you for your efforts in doing what you do very well. Are there any items that we need to bring towards the next agenda?
Perhaps only a follow-up from you all, and
Sure.
what we have done and where we're heading.
Great. Yeah, I think all of our topics will fall under new business for our old business for the next meeting. So with that in mind, I thank everybody, and this meeting is hereby adjourned.